Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. Steve, welcome back to Coast to Coast. How are you?
Hey, Connie, I'm really good. And it's funny because I was just before this, I was watching one of your videos, your Bigfoot Friday. So that's what I was doing a few minutes ago.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Did you sign up for a Patreon account there for me?
Not yet,
are you helping me out there?
Not yet, but I did subscribe to your channel for now.
Oh, yay. Make sure you hit that notification bell, right? You always got to say that, right? YouTubers know. It's the lingo.
but yeah, no, I'm happy to be back here. Happy to chat with you for a while.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to, we've got a ton of great audio clips that you got for us. I'm hoping none of them are repeats from before, right? Because you get these all the time. You don't need to repeat.
No, these will all be new because it's been a while since I've been on. So these are all, I'd say, in the past 3 or 4 months, possibly.
Ooh, okay. Now, before we get into hearing them, I know that there's always a lot of controversy in your entire genre. However, let me pull out one of them. Mm-hmm. And you can talk about some of the other ones too, but let me pull out this one specific one. And that is that I know people get very, very upset when someone crosses over. And then you, who talks to the other side with these different devices that you have, you go in and you start talking to them immediately because, I agree with you. That's about the best time to try to do something within 24 hours. Mm-hmm. But I know there's a lot of controversy there. And I know that you've done it with celebrities and you've gotten some unbelievable stuff back, but you've also done that with people that other people know, and it's not been a happy thing. So tell me about that. Am I wrong about that, or is there controversy there?
The only thing incorrect there is I've only done that with celebrities on occasion. And I do that with celebrities that I was a fan of, or I felt, I had a connection to, or I watched them on TV or in film or music, listen to their music. Because I don't just, if a celebrity dies, I just don't go and say, oh, I'm going to do a session and try to contact them. But as far as other people, no, I don't do like people, just random people, unless I'm asked to, and then I would do that privately. So publicly I've done celebrities, but yeah, there's always going to be controversy because death, it's kind of a taboo subject, even though one day our time's going to come for each and every one of us. We all die. We all have that in common. And I tend to look at death a little differently than most because I know for a fact that death is not the end. Our soul is eternal. And when I say these things that I'm going to be saying tonight, it's not really just me saying my opinion. It comes from evidence and what the spirits directly have said. So I will be relaying what they told me. And all of this has been recorded and documented. But I see death as, it's hard to explain, but like when I die, for example, I want my death to be celebrated, for my life to be celebrated. I see it as celebrate one's life, and when they go, when their time comes, they pass over, cross over, and they begin a new journey. Their soul begins their next phase of their soul journey. So I don't see it as a negative thing, and when I contact a celebrity, it's out of love and respect always, as you can see in my videos, and the results are pretty amazing sometimes. And I always say the first 24 to 48 hours for me has always been the most effective time because, in theory, that is the time when these spirits are still earthbound and they have not yet crossed into the light. So, yeah, that's basically what I've done with the celebrity connections.
Well, how did you even get into this? And do you hear things without the device as well, or do you enjoy, always and always want to use your different devices? You have lots of different devices you've used along the way.
Yeah, well, I got into it about my whole life. I've been into ghosts and paranormal and always been fascinated. I've had experiences when I was a kid on 2 or 3 occasions that later in life I explained away, and then now that I look back, I realize what it was. But about 8 years ago, I started doing this, on an almost daily basis, not quite daily, but almost. And it all started with a fascination with a device called the Spirit Box. And I set out to debunk it because I didn't believe it. I bought one, and immediately they started saying my name, and I was immediately, a believer, because if I ask who's here, I get a name, and then they say my name. I can't explain that away. So as time went on, I did more and more research and started to develop my own devices. And today I use my portal device as well as a digital recorder, just to get like real-time EVP, which is called electronic voice phenomenon, where you record, ask a question, play back, you get an answer. And I have a recorder that allows me to get an answer, I'd say 95% of the time. And as far as hearing with my own ears, that does happen from time to time. And I can be sitting in a room in my house, and I'll hear a voice, say, in my office or music room, and my son has heard it, my fiance has heard it, and I can go in there with a recorder and say, who was talking in here, and get an answer. And another thing that's been happening lately, as I do these sessions for groups of people, I do group sessions on my Patreon page where we kind of do it as a collective. I might have 50 to 100 people meditate on the day I do the session and focus on their loved one coming through. I record an hour-long session. Maybe 20, 30 of these people will get messages from their loved one and validation, so they know it's a validation. Messages come through that I know nothing about, but then they watch it back. But during those sessions, I'm starting lately to see and hear in real time as well. So it's not always just the devices. I do hear and now see as well at times.
Oh, my gosh. Holy cow. Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal here on Coast to Coast, and I don't ever want to go to your house.
It's not scary. It's not.
Come on. Well, what was, you can probably remember the places, the names of the places and everybody we were with when we first met. And, where were we when we were in this room, which, by the way, later we were told, Anthony Sanchez, was I told at least, that room that we were laying there, you got to be careful. We were just laying on the bed, but it wasn't, we were just laying on the bed. Okay. And we were hanging out and, waiting to see what was going to happen. Everybody else, I guess, had gone to sleep at that point, which was early, but we'd been doing a lot. But I didn't know it was supposed to be the scariest room of that place. But it was really old, right? I mean, we were out west.
That was in Virginia City, Nevada. And I don't remember the name of the building that we were all staying in, but it was a few of us. And if you remember, when we were walking around the house and we walked into that room, we both kind of felt a weird energy in that room.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like it. And when we were laying there, I was like, wow, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel good. And you were feeling the same thing. It was like some kind of dark or oppressive. I don't know what it was. It was really off. So we ended up leaving, going out of that room. We went downstairs and everybody was kind of laying around sleeping. But yeah, that was a crazy room.
And it was much more than that. I looked over into your eyes and I saw something that was not you. Your eyes had changed and it was like, and then.
Well, that was, if you remember, we were doing a session with a device called a GeoBox made by George Brown. And there was basically, I was not feeling well, started to feel nauseous. And through the box, they were saying they were attacking me. I went and got sick in the bathroom and then went downstairs. And that is when you interviewed me on camera and was telling me about how my eyes looked so different. Yeah.
Ooh, it was freaky.
Yeah.
Your eyes changed, and it was, I did not want to be around you. It was really not, your eyes changed right in front of me. And and then you were nauseous, and you said you'd never had been like that before. And I remember walking in that room one time too, and Anthony's got it on Anthony, a big coast to coaster, buddy of ours. He got that on video where I walked into the room and something like shocked me. And you saw, if I remember, the lights, blinked too, and I ran out of there. Ah!
Yeah. The whole light flickered, and like you ran out, like screaming down the stairs. I remember that. Yeah.
It was creepy. So, I'm telling everybody this because the real deal, going out, dealing with the people that are actually going through this, and I can say for sure, yep, I was there when these things were happening, and I felt it and experienced it too. And so, Steve deals with these things a lot on a day-to-day basis. I try to stay away from the ghosty area because I know they come home with you. They'll hang on to you. So, I'll go out in the woods with the big 12, 15-foot hairy man. But so everybody stick around because we're going to be talking a little bit more with Steve, and we're going to start hearing these audio clips that he's got for us. And be ready to, grab a pillow and a blanket, something to hold on to, and maybe cover up yourself when you hear these things because it's going to be a little creepy. More to come here with Steve Huff from Huff Paranormal on Coast to Coast AM. And yes, I have to admit it. Yes, I messed up totally. Absolutely. I'm in a time warp. I think when my last research, I was thrown out of a portal into a different time because I'm thinking it's spring. So yes, thank you all for emailing me, faxing me, writing it in the sky and sending smoke signals. And now I know you guys are out there listening. Thank you so much. Yes. I totally messed that up. Wow. I think I'm wanting to spring forward. I think that's the wish inside of me. But no, we are falling back. You know what? When you travel around a little bit and you're in the cold areas, when you do that, you just are wishing for the spring to happen. So no, I am so sorry. It's fall. What am I thinking? We just had Halloween. We've got Thanksgiving coming up. Like I said, I think I went through one of those portals. And actually today I heard somebody talking about, they did the same mistake, and I thought, and then here I did. So we fall back tonight. So we fall back. So keep that in mind. We fall back. I don't want you to be late tomorrow. I don't want you to mess up anything. We fall back tonight. We turn our clocks back. I'm so sorry. That's how we get that extra hour. So excuse me. Again, I'm dealing with people in the hospital. I'm dealing with all sorts of things. So forgive me for that, but thank you for letting me know kindly. And, oh, man. Okay, so let me give you something, too. Let's make sure we give you the specifics to what's coming up in the future so you won't flub it up and I won't mess it up for you. It's another Danheiser Wagner Entertainment Special presenting George Noory Live at the historic Everett Theater, once again in Everett, Washington. If you have never seen George Noory live, you got to do it. You're going to enjoy the show. And he always has great guests as well. So mark this down, and I'm going to totally look right at it as I say it so I don't mess you up with any times. Saturday, March 23rd. Now, this is next year, but these tickets go so fast that you better get them before they're gone. And so that's why we like to tell you about this early. So Saturday, March 23rd, plan the time. 2019, plan the time, and go ahead and call to get your tickets. Peter Davenport's going to be there. Johnny Enoch's going to be there. Danny and Brinkley, Danny and Danian, and John Hogue. All right. So forgive me. I hope I got all their names right. I know the Peter Davenport and the Johnny Enoch. So you guys, please, 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 if you are interested at all, if you're into this, don't wait. That's why we're telling you early enough, okay? You can call for the tickets and more information just by going to our website, and you'll see exactly how to get the tickets online. You don't want to miss it. George always puts on a great show, and he always has great guests, and you'll get to meet him if you never have, and you'll find out he's one of the kindest men you'll ever meet. And what a great, funny personality he's got, too. So any more information, go to our website at coasttocoastam.com. It's Coast to Coast AM. Connie Willis here, along with Huff Paranormal's Steve Huff, photographer, professional, outside, making the money that way and making a living, but then on his spare time, every other second, he's talking to folks on the other side, and he has got the sound clips to prove it to us. So before we bring on the first one there, Steve, tell me, again, or tell me just about, I don't know, what's your favorite tool out there? I remember seeing the different boxes that you had, these different devices, and you had some other people's devices, and then you have made your own. In fact, you sent me one, and I'm just scared to use it. Sorry.
That's right. I remember that. Well, I like to try all kinds of devices to see what works for me and what I can kind of bond with in a sense. I've used the GeoBox from George Brown. George Brown is an amazing, nice guy. We've actually appeared on Paranormal Lockdown TV show together with Nick Groff, and he used his GeoBox, and I brought my Portal box. But basically what I use today is my Portal. I call it the Portal White Light box. There's a reason for that name, and I use a Panasonic DR60 digital recorder, which is the only recorder ever made on planet Earth that allows people to directly connect with spirits back and forth in real time. And again, like I'd say 95% of the time that I record with that, I get an answer. I was just doing a live stream a couple hours ago tonight, and we were getting answers to questions using the DR60 recorder. So I use my Portal and the DR60 as well. Okay.
Now, you said that there was a reason why you called it the White Lightning.
White light,
what?
Yeah.
What is that?
So ever since I started doing this work over the last 8 years, there's been many times, I would even say thousands of times, where spirits will ask for help. It's always help me, help us. And when I ask, well, what are you wanting help with? They will then say the white light or the light. And then if you ask more, there are spirits who seem to be stuck. And if we go by evidence and recordings, when we pass, when our day comes, there is a light that forms. And if we don't walk into that light or cross into that light, it goes away after a set amount of time, say 3 days. And according to what the evidence I've captured, if you don't go into that light, it kind of disappears and you become earthbound. You roam around, right? And they're always looking for that white light. And over the years, they would say weird things to me that made me uncomfortable. They would say, Huff's been chosen. When I say for what, they would say to bring light. So I studied and researched, and there's a thing called, people are called light workers. And there's techniques to actually manifest this white light, or try to anyway. I try to, for these spirits. And I actually have recordings where I try to do this and I pray for them. And, I just envision God's love energy all throughout me, this white light. And then they will say, we're in the light, and they will thank me, and then they will be gone. So it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but I have documented evidence of it. A friend of mine, Josh Lewis from Hope Paranormal, we made a documentary called Finding the Light, where it was just about trying to help spirits and documenting that evidence. So I call this box the White Light box because I made it with the intent of helping these lost souls.
Okay, and you know what? That's not, we've all kind of heard this thing throughout the years. We've always heard, help me, which would always creep anybody out. And when they go into a home and hear that just without any devices or even with a device, we've always heard that in the past. And we've always heard, too, where psychics and mediums will, say, go to the light, go to the light. Yes. And we all watch Poltergeist, right? Go to the light, go to the light.
It's a real thing. It really is.
So it's real.
When they made Poltergeist, what was that, 70s or 80s, somebody had knowledge of this. So, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Let me give you a little scoop on that. Can I give you a little scoop on that behind the scenes?
Sure.
Let me give you a little scoop on Poltergeist. The very first one, the blockbuster, right? I know one of the writers from that. And by the way, I hope to have him on Coast to Coast sometime because he later he directed some of the later ones. But the original one, he was one of the writers. And I don't know if I should even say his name right now or not, but because I do want to have him on. Neat guy. wonderful person. But back then, he was just a writer, and he didn't believe in any of this stuff. And I said, well, my gosh, you guys were right on it. He said, he said, I myself, I didn't know anything about it. He said, but after the show, the film came out, and back then that's when people wrote letters, that there wasn't computers or anything like that. He said they had so many bags of mail, and they were asking about all these things, the Indian stuff and the fire and going to the light and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, holy cow, when he saw all the mail, he said, there must be something to this. So he started looking into it, learning more about it. Now he does, he had directed later for them and also goes and does a lot of paranormal type documentaries. And so he's into it. He's into it now, but it wasn't until after that movie. And he was one of the writers. And, as he was doing it, he didn't know there was anything into it. Isn't that interesting?
That is.
That's interesting stuff along the way behind the scenes. Okay, so let's go ahead and hear like the first audio clip, and then there's plenty of things to talk about throughout since we have you through the evening. So, do you need to set up anything, or do we just want to hear it and then you talk about it?
Are you going in order, like number one? Yeah,
let's go in order. And by the way, our new board op out of LA is Michael, and Michael is with us tonight, and you want to say hi to everybody? Wait a minute. No. That was the hello.
All right. I'll set up that clip really quick.
Okay, go ahead. We're going to start with number one. Okay.
All right, this was recorded just a few days ago in my home because over the last week and a half, for the first time in a year and a half, I've had evil spirits creeping into my sessions. And one was a female, which I think may have been a succubus, which is kind of in mythology a female demon who has sex with the male in their sleep, but they're really evil. And I can't play the clip of what she said because it was really nasty. But this is me afterwards trying to tell them they are not welcome here. I don't deal with it. I do not fear them, and they are not going to stay. So as I talk, I have my portal box on, and they're responding, and you'll be able to hear.
Okay, so ready when you are there, Michael.
Spirits who are kind are allowed here. Spirits who are evil or have evil intent, you are not welcome here. So if you want to stay, I'm not going to make it easy for you. If you want to leave,
not to think of that.
Have to think of that. That's right. It's probably best you leave.
And not pursue.
And not pursue.
Okay, now I just got chills from that.
So today, that's the level of, that's how they respond. They just talk, and they'll respond to me as I speak to them. And that was, I was saying they're not welcome here, and then they were validating by saying and not pursue. But there's more to that. There's a full video, and it's on my YouTube at House Paranormal if anybody wants to see the full video. But, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, thank you for respecting whatever else was said before that where it got pretty crazy. But the amazing part there and is the fact that they're talking, they're responding back to you appropriately. Mm-hmm. I remember when the boxes we were using at the time, when I had first met you years back, and the boxes would say, like murder or Steve or Connie. And when you hear that, it's crazy. But you're getting full sentences. You're getting conversations.
Yeah, I've recorded a few mini conversations over the past year, actually, and since we've met and you've seen what we were using, it's improved greatly, and I'm always working on improving this for just for the good of ITC, which is Instrumental Trance Communication, the field of ITC, which is basically spirit communication research. So I consider myself a researcher, and I'm very serious about it. It's a passion. Part of a huge chunk of my life is in this and always will be. And there's good and bad that comes with it. There's evil spirits. There's good spirits. It's kind of like you can't have love without hate. You can't have God without the devil. You can't have heaven without hell. You can't have, there's a balance to the universe. So when you do this work, you do encounter good, and I've encountered angels, lost souls, really kind spirits, and at the same time I've encountered the most evil spirit that there can be, even one which we'll play in a clip here tonight where the spirit tells me he is the devil himself.
Oof. All right. Well, I purposely did not listen to these ahead of time, just so you'll know, because I wanted to feel them. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead. Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. We're listening to his audio clips. Let's go ahead and listen to number 2.
This is Steve Huff. Who would like to come through? It's being very quiet tonight. Who is with me? All from heaven. Who's with me right now?
Oh my gosh, and I didn't have you set that up. Sorry, I just went to it. But
oh, that's okay.
Oh my.
Basically, that was just a random session one night I did. I usually do sessions like that if I feel an energy around me or in the house. They will let me know if they want to talk. And there's been, over the past few years, random times, maybe twice a year, they will say there's spirit children around me. And I just don't understand that, because I don't know why there would be spirit children around. But in this clip, when I said who was here, it was all from heaven. And when I asked who it was, they said children. You can play that again. Actually.
Yeah, let's hear that again from what he said.
This is Steve Huff. Who would like to come through? It's being very quiet tonight. Who is with me? All from heaven. Who's with me right now?
And what are they saying there?
The children, when I asked who's with me.
The children. See, you've heard these so much, you know what they're saying. You speak spirit.
Yeah, you know what you do. I mean, it takes time. When you start doing this, and a lot of people have started in the last 5 years or so. It's funny. I see people start getting to it, and they'll send me a clip of theirs that they can't make out, and I'm like, oh, here's an answer right here, and I'll send it back to them, and then they'll hear it, and it's like your ears kind of get trained to it. But some of these coming up are super clear. You'll see soon. But,
no, I'm happy about that. But, you know, it's like that in all the genres, too. Like the Bigfooters, they start seeing things that they never saw before after they do it for a while, and they see other forest friends. Folks that like to look up to the sky and see lights. At one point, they can differentiate between the satellites and the other lights, right? And so, yeah, it's like that even with the orbs. Is it a piece of dust or is it an orb? When you had said that they come to you now and they want to talk to you, do you find it's like the same ones or different spirits, and they just know that they can come talk to you?
Well, I do have regulars that come through. There's 2 of them. There's one who's been with me for 5 or 6 years named Billy, and he comes through no matter what device I use, and if I ask for him, he's there. And there's another one who's kind of dark, and there's a long story with him, but he kind of became attached to me when I visited the Bel Air house, which is a house in Ohio, which is very haunted. I've been there 3 times. And the first time I went was with Nick Groff for Paranormal Lockdown, and instantly we turned on my box, and the resident spirit there, you know, according to the owner, was Ed. And as soon as I turn on my box, I'm like, who's here? And they're like, Ed, you know. So from that first visit there, Ed has stuck with me, and he's still with me now. He still comes through my sessions all the time. We did an event there at the Bel Air house a few months ago. It was last March, so 9 months ago or so. And, you know, the group of people came to the event. We used the box throughout the house, and Ed was coming through, and other spirits were saying Ed was cranky, and it's really crazy stuff. But, yeah, so Ed and Billy are regulars, and then I also get just different spirits coming through all the time besides those 2.
Oh, my. You know, growing up in a haunted house like I did, that's the last thing you want is something, you know, hanging on to you, because these things hang on to you. So do you do something before or after to try to get them off of you?
I used to, and it really doesn't work. I mean, you hear about people saying, sage your home, sage yourself, and when spirits are attached to me, they seem to not be bothered by sage. Or I've done house cleansings here, where when we had an evil spirit here, that it did get rid of the evil spirit, but that needed prayer, holy oil, holy water, sage, salt. I mean, it needed the whole 9 yards, but it did work. But it's usually not a problem. I've been doing this so long that I can sense when there's a dark energy or there's a positive energy. I know immediately when there's a dark energy with me.
Connie Willis here on Coast to Coast AM. Our guest tonight is Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. He talks to the other side, and, they talk back to him. In fact, some conversations occur. It's absolutely amazing. Steve, you've been on different shows with radio and YouTube and television, and we've gotten to do a documentary together, too. That was so neat. When I met you, I knew nothing about your background. We just happened to, click liking each other, and just all of a sudden I learned, oh, no, he's the one that's got all the little entities on him. Run. But I love it. I know a lot of people, when they look into this type of genre, they, believe people like you can be very scary and mean and nasty. I've never, I've never experienced that with you. If I can turn you up just a little bit there, Michael, if you can turn him up for me. Have you had a lot of problems and controversy just because of what you do from other people?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get emails almost every day telling me, you're only speaking with demons, and I've been told for 7-8 years, you're going to die within a month, you're going to lose all your money, you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose, your love life is going, if you don't stop, and the opposite has actually happened. Over the years of doing this, my life has improved beyond belief, and I'm not talking financially, I'm talking about spiritually, and I now basically in every video that I do, I end it with saying love is the key. I'm so full of love energy and positivity and happiness. I treat everyone with respect. I never talk trash about anyone. I'm nice to everyone. I help those in need if I can help. And, I believe that's a part of why I have such success in this ITC field. Spirits somehow seem to know when you're genuine and when you care about them. And I have a genuine care for the living and the dead. And they somehow can feel that and sense that. But most people think that you're going to get bogged down with demons and turn evil and become possessed and, do all these crazy things. But while, like I said, there is evil that can creep in and try to take over, there's ways to combat that mentally. There's also good, and there's times where I've done sessions where the messaging was, I have an amazing video where there's a conversation going when I'm feeling drained of energy after 2 days of just working hard, and I was so drained, and they're literally telling me through the box in real time that angels are there and healing me, and they're sending down light energy to heal me. And it went on for a couple minutes. And no joke, right after, I felt amazing. Now, I'm not a believer in faith healing and all of that, but when you record these kind of things and you feel it, it's hard to look away from that. I still don't understand a lot of it, but to answer your question, there are a lot of people who think it's all, demons and darkness, but that's not the truth. That is so far from the truth. My life, I have become so much more spiritual, and I'm just kind to everyone. And as you said, we met, and there was nothing evil about me.
Yeah, don't start wearing a robe and doing all that number. Okay, I don't want to. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You'll have to now take a picture with you in a robe. I agree with you. I think love is the only thing that's real. Everything else is fabricated, including fear. I believe love is the only thing that is real, and that's the authentic, and that's what you go for. That's what you head for. And it's interesting that even in your findings with your research that you show your evidence of it, you still show the light. Were you a believer in God beforehand, and are you a believer now?
Beforehand, growing up, I had doubts. I didn't know. I was like, there has to be something, but I didn't know if I believed in the theory of, the Almighty God as we've been taught growing up, or you go to church. But since doing this, there's no shadow of a doubt within me. There is a God. There is a creator. Now, that God might be the universe itself, but to me, God equals love. I'm not a religious guy. I always say I'm spiritual, but I believe in a creator, and I believe God equals love no matter what God you believe in. So, yeah, this work has just improved my life all the way around. I pray now. I never used to pray, and I'm thankful for everything that has been given to me in life. I'm thankful for being able to do what I do here, even though this is not it doesn't pay my bills. It's something I'm going to do for the rest of my life because it's fascinating. And it's proving. Yeah.
Dude, you got to be thankful that such a beautiful fiance and cute fiance as you have it still is with you after you bring in entities and they wake you up in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, talk to us."
Yeah,
she's great.
There's times when I'm up at 3 a.m. and I go turn on a box and I'm recording till 4:30, and then she'll just wake up and say, "Oh, you were recording again," and she'll go right back to sleep.
You're lucky she's still with you. No, she's. I've never met her in person, but she looks cute in all your neat little videos and things like that. You're welcome. All right, so let's get to some audio. Michael, our board op out in L.A. I am here at KOA News Radio Denver. And so we're all spread out all over the place, but we are ready. And where are you? Steve, you're in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. So, yeah, we're all over.
Okay, we are spread around. We're making it happen. But let's go ahead and hear do you want to set up number 3 before we play it?
I'll give a quick little setup of these.
Okay.
So number three is just basically a clip. I'm talking, and this goes back to where they always ask for help, and I try to help them. And this is just the Spirit saying, "And you help," basically confirming that I do help them.
Okay,
you can
Steve
come
Huff.
through. Awaiting a former friend. This is Steve Huff.
And you help.
Now, what did we hear there?
So you could play it again. The first one's hard to hear, but they're saying awaiting a former friend. We were taught that goes part of the early part of the session, but then the end part you hear, "and you help." That's what they're saying. But you can play that again.
You can come through. Awaiting a former friend. This is Steve Huff.
And you help.
And you help.
Yeah.
Oh, so talking right to you to help us out and waiting and.
Yeah, because I'm always trying to help them. So they verify sometimes. They're like, "You help, you do help."
Man.
The next clip is actually pretty intense, actually.
Okay, tell us about that one.
Okay, now this was one of those times I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was pushed to turn on the box. So I was actually in my kitchen. And again, the full video is on YouTube, and there's a lot to it. But this is a clip where basically a little bit of evil started to try to come in, but my guides came through the box and said, "You need protection." And then right after that, they said, "Angel on the way," like they were sending an angel. But then I take my little DR60 voice recorder, and I said something like, "Was an angel really sent?" And they give me an answer, so you can play that.
All right.
Hey, we're protecting you. An angel was sent to protect you. I had a video recently where they said, "Angel on the way, you need protection."
Angel on the way.
Angels on the way.
I heard one of them say an angel was coming. Is there an angel here?
Yes.
Ooh, so they're saying angel on the way.
Yeah, so like there's sometimes when you do a session, I have my good spirits and even guides, and if the evil spirit tries to get in, the good spirits or guides will warn me, or they will try to protect me. And they've told me many times that I am protected. It's a crazy thing, but it happens. It happens every now and again. So
let's hear that one again. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that was a pretty intense session. The full video is pretty crazy because I had flowers behind the box, and I'm like, "What do you see behind the box?" And they're just like, "Flowers." I mean, They just come right out. Yeah, it was pretty intense, though.
To hear that, when you were in person, I mean, I remember hearing when we were all together one time and they said Connie, and just out of nowhere, they said my name. It was like, no, I was trying to, be incognito there. So yeah, let's hear that one again, Michael. Angel on the way.
Hey, we're protecting you. An angel was sent to protect you. I had a video recently where they said, angel on the way, you need protection.
Angel on the way.
Angel's on the way.
I heard one of them say an angel was coming. Is there an angel here?
Yes.
What? There's like a little heartbeat going. Is that a little music you put in the background?
That might have been
effect?
part of the background. Yeah, that might have been part of the background.
Do you put that in later, or do you have that happening while it's going on live?
No, that's usually later. I put that as an intro clip to the video, and then, so that's probably where I grabbed that from.
So, yeah, you got to put a little disclaimer at the bottom. The voices are real creepy and will freak you out. However, the heartbeat, I added that later for effect. Like you need that for effect, Okay, let's go on to number 5 there. Do you need to set that one up for us?
Yeah, I'll just say something a little about each one. Now, this one was a session where I asked the spirit if he ever read the Bible, and he gives an answer.
Okay.
Have you ever read the Bible? In a previous life.
So I was testing a new mode on my box where when they say something, it will repeat it. So if I don't hear it the first time, I hear it the second. But I said, have you ever read the Bible? And the answer was, in a previous life. So.
And your answers, they're not like they're so far-fetched that you try to fix it or fit it into work, with your question. They seem to be like they're answers that you would never think of.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like sometimes the answers surprise me, and sometimes it doesn't faze me because I'm so used to it. But sometimes, especially some coming up later where there's full conversations, they start getting a little crazy, even to me. So, but it's,
Well, one of the interesting things, one of the interesting things I think is when you hear something that it's never what you expect, but it still works. It's not like when people do fake things a lot of times. And I don't want to give them this hint so that they'll start changing the way they fake it if there's people out there faking it. But usually when someone fakes it, they usually keep it within the same way of thinking and style as any human would. Mm-hmm. But when you start hearing things a little different and it still makes a little sense, like, that's interesting, that's where it gets interesting, obviously. Okay, let's just hear that one more time so we can hear in a previous life.
Have you ever read the Bible? In a previous life.
It sounds like he's got a 6-shooter, and he's like, yeah, hold on.
Yeah, sometimes it just pops like that, and before they talk, it's really strange. It'll just go,
Oh. What do you think that might be?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. It doesn't happen all the time.
Wonder if it's like the portal thing or something coming in, or
Not sure.
Nothing there. Okay, I'm trying to pull it out of you. There ain't nothing there to get out of you. Okay, Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal here on Coast to Coast AM, and what we're doing is we're listening to the sounds, the audio clips that he gets from the different devices that he has that claiming to be on the other side. And so let's do the number 6 and set that one up for us.
This one's kind of fun, actually. Debbie and I, we were house shopping. We were thinking of moving into a new house. So we went into a house, and I brought my little digital recorder. And as I walked around, I asked if there were any spirits in the house, and they give me an answer.
Okay.
Hello? Is there anyone here in this house?
Hello? Is there anyone here in this house?
Woo! Did you hear that?
No, that was a loud yes, like they were screaming yes.
Oh,
the
okay.
answer.
Okay, let's hear that one again.
You'll hear it at the end. Yes. Yeah.
Hello? Is there anyone here in this house?
Hello? Is there anyone here in this house?
Woo!
Woo's right.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, Woo's right. I'd be like, run. We don't want. Now, do you want a house where they are, or do you want to, have some rest?
I have a theory that they're just with me, and no matter where I go, they're kind of drawn when I use these devices, and because I've been doing it so long, it's like they know me. There's people around the world using various devices, and they'll email me and send me clips, and they're like, I'm getting your name. They're asking for you. Somebody just emailed me yesterday saying in their session, they said, I'm friends with Steve Huff or find Steve Huff. So my name's coming through everywhere, and I think no matter where I go, it's just they're going to be there. So.
Oh, man. Do you think that they're all spirits, or do you think some of them could be like E.T. or some other kind of...
I get asked that a lot, and I try to find out. When I ask, the times I've asked them what they are, they would the answers have been either ghosts, spirits, souls, angels, or demons. Those are the 5 answers I've gotten anytime I've asked. So, but then you go into do you believe them? Because, if there is some evil, they could be lying, so it's a thing that I don't take everything they say as gospel, as truth. So, I just approach it, I have a notebook of all the messages over the years, and I try to piece them together to see what is true, what is not, what makes sense, what doesn't. But I've never been able to contact anyone saying they were an ET or alien of some kind, but who knows?
That's right. Who knows? You don't, just quickly here, do you mess with the Ouija board, or do you feel that you don't need to because of the device you have?
I don't really use them these days, but when I was 9, I started using a Ouija board.
Dude, that's why they've been with you this whole time.
It's possible.
Yes.
Some of them say they've been with me forever. So who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I don't use them anymore. But I feel that the devices I use are like the modern day version of a Ouija board. Instead of spelling out words, you hear them.
I agree with you there. This is Steve Huff with Huff Paranormal, and I'm Connie Willis. You are listening to Coast AM. Broadcasting live from more than 600 affiliates, or close to that, near to that, if it's not right around there, in North America, including Puerto Rico, Guam, and Canada. You are listening to Coast AM. I'm Connie Willis out of the KOA News Radio studios of Denver. And I don't know. We've been talking to Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. It gets a little creepy when you hear the things that we are discussing, what we're hearing. And before, every radio station, by the way, has some creepy room in it. And just beforehand, Angie Sillo and I, who's the producer here, she took me down into the basement area of the studio, of the radio station, and there was a door that she says, she doesn't feel good in that area when she goes there. And so we went down there, and the door was locked, but the lights were on. It's just, and I knocked a little bit on it, and it just, we both had the hairs on our bodies all raise up. So there was something weird about that. So talking with Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. Steve, do you find that these things are everywhere? I know they follow you and stick around with you, but are they pretty much, I've met people along the way that say they see dead people, And they say they're everywhere. So do you also agree with that? Do you think you can take your box anywhere and they're going to be there even if they don't follow you?
Yes, I believe that 100%. I believe they are everywhere, and mostly they seem to be where there are people. It's funny because a lot of people think, at least when I was a kid, going to the cemetery is spooky. I find they don't really like to hang out at cemeteries. And then if you think about it, if you die, would your spirit rather hang around a cemetery or around other people? So I find that they tend to be in places where people congregate. I've recorded EVPs in a movie theater, in a mall, in restaurants. But also, there are locations where spirits seem to stick, like certain houses or locations where the same spirits stay. And a friend of mine, Josh Lewis, again, Hope Paranormal, we did an experiment a few weeks ago live, and we posted a video of it where me and him were connected via FaceTime, and he lives in Florida, I live in Arizona, and we used our recorders. He has the same recorder as me, and we both have a guide named Michael, and he asked if Michael was there, if he could say something, and he did. And then 10 seconds later, we asked if Michael could come through my recorder, 2,000 miles away, and he came through my recorder on command, when we asked him to. So there seems to be also like no space or time for them. They can be anywhere at any given time, but again, I do feel that there are many earthbound spirits that just roam the earth, and a lot of them want nothing more than to cross over. That's why they're always asking for help.
Wow. Well, I remember. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I remember that you had said earlier on that they have that option of going into the light, but if they do not go there, it kind of fades away. And then, you guys work from there. But at that point, that made me think for a little bit this is what I thought immediately when you said that they had an option of going to the light, but there was a window of it. When you are just on this planet alone, alive and well, there are many opportunities in life where a window or a door will open for you. And, it's right there for you. Everything points to go to that door. Everything is telling you in the world, and some of us still need to be smacked in the back of the head or pushed through it,
Exactly, yeah.
But we miss it, right? We miss it, and people do it here in life. And so you're saying you cross over, and there's another door open, and some people will still not go to it. So I wonder if those are the same people that had trouble going through all the doors that were presented to them in real life. What is it? Is it fear?
It could be fear because, there's theories. We don't know the exact answers, of course, but some theories are there's fear. They don't know what it is. They don't know where it's going to take them. Somebody just told me today that they would be afraid to go into the light because they would be afraid of being instantly reincarnated, and they wouldn't want that. But in the spiritual realm, it's like maybe a spirit wants to hang around here to visit with their loved ones longer, and they miss that opportunity. There could be a multitude of reasons that we just don't really know the answers to, but there's books written about it as well. And I once read a book called When the Dead Speak or something like that, and this woman was a medium, and everything she wrote matched up to what I do, so that validated a lot of things for me. But she said the same thing. There's a 3-day window of light.
Wow.
And if you don't go through it, you become stuck. And a lot of these spirits have said, I'm stuck, we're stuck. And it's kind of frightening to think of that, because I know when my time comes, I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be asking for help through somebody's device, but
it's almost like they give you time to go and see all your loved ones and go to the funeral and see who showed up and who brought what and who's saying what, right? And chuckle a little bit or, go, yeah, I figured as much, whatever.
Yep.
Right. And then it's like, okay, you've kind of said your final goodbyes and checked things out, and then you move on. But it's interesting because even in real life, if you miss those golden opportunities of doors that are open for you, you end up being stuck too, and you for the rest of you procrastinate it, right? And now you're like, oh man, why didn't I do that when I could have? So I hope people are hearing this right now, and they know to do it here, and then also know when they cross over. It's jeez, and I could talk about that one all day. So you also mentioned too, I agree with you. Why go to a cemetery? If you passed away, why would you sit there where the graves are? No, you're going to go either back where your home was or wherever you hung out or whoever you want to see. You would not just, I'm going to sit in the cemetery and wait for, a little gang to come in and try to hear me talk to them.
Now I have recorded evidence at a cemetery, but anytime I go, it's like, way less active than even if I'm just at my house or somewhere else. So I never really feel a lot of energy at a cemetery. So I don't really go to them too often.
I agree. I've done it with people because I want to do it, but to me, I feel very peaceful there. They're usually beautiful too, right?
I feel peaceful there more than anything.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to some of these audio clips. We're gonna skip number 7 for those of you that are keeping up with the numbers, because I know someone will give me a backlash. You forgot number 7. So we're gonna go to 8 because Steve said that one was not worthy. And by the way, I really did mess up earlier. It is not Spring Forward. It is not March. It is not. I'm thinking of the Coast to Coast event with the George Noory Live. It's in March, so I'm thinking of that in my head, and it's really fall back. So we change our clocks back, right? So Steve, maybe you already did that. I don't know. I like to do it ahead. So
we actually don't do that here in Phoenix. So we never. Have
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. I got a whole story to that one. But so we're going to go to number 8. Do you need to set that one up for us?
Yeah, this is basically, this was recorded maybe a week ago. And I was asking them, trying to get confirmation, because they have told me when I was at that Bel Air house doing the event, I ran my box and I recorded a paragraph-long message. And it started out with Huff guides spirit. We chose him, and so he is my brother. And they've been telling me I guide them. So I'm still not fully sure of what that means, unless it has something to do with guiding to the light. I don't know. But I ask in this clip if I guide spirits, and they answer basically by telling me to pray for them. So you can hear that, yeah.
Hey, don't spoil it for us. Don't spoil it for us. Okay, go ahead.
My one who guides spirit, because I would love to do that for you. Prayer. I do that for you guys.
Oh my. Who's the guy that he does the voices and he's usually God? Not Morgan Freeman. There's another guy.
Oh.
There's another guy. He did like who? Yeah.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about.
I can't think of his name right now, but I know who you're talking about.
James Earl Jones. Okay, got it. That sounded like James Earl Jones.
But I asked if I guide them, and the answer was pray, and then prayer or something, and then the last word was evermore.
Okay, so let's hear that one again.
My one who guides spirit, because I would love to do that for you. Prayer. I do that for you guys.
James Earl Jones right there.
That does sound like James Earl Jones.
May the force be with you. I'm telling you, holy cow, he came. Yeah, well, and I think he's passed, right?
Is he?
I think so.
I think so.
We're losers. We don't know much of this information. We should know that kind of stuff, right? What's wrong with us? So let's go to 9, and don't
I won't
don't spoil it for us.
But I will say this is a really good one. Basically, I was in my kitchen. This was, I think, the same night as the prayer one just before this. And I felt an energy. So that's all I'll say, and it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
I'm Steve. There's an energy right by me.
I can pass
Are there two of you in this room? Or three of you? I'm sensing three of you. Come on through. I'm right here.
There's a release of energy.
There's a release of energy. So that's how I feel you, because you release that energy, right? And I release my energy. We kind of feed off each other. I do and will pray for you.
Just unbelievable stuff.
This is unbelievable stuff, isn't it? You guys are just as surprised as I am sometimes by this. This is real. You know it's real. I know it's real.
That's what we thought.
Wow, a conversation.
So that was a whole back and forth. I felt the energy. The first thing is you hear a voice say there's a release of energy after I talk about feeling it. And then they talk about, that they have a back and forth there. And when I say this is real, it's real. And the last thing is that's what we thought.
Oh, wow. And then it said what? It said, this is unbelievable.
This is unbelievable stuff. Yeah, play that again, actually.
I want to hear that one again. Absolutely. That was awesome.
I'm Steve. There's an energy right by me.
I can pass
Are there two of you in this room? Or three of you? I'm sensing three of you. Come on through. I'm right here.
There's a release of energy.
There's a release of energy. So that's how I feel you, because you release that energy, right? And I release my energy. We kind of feed off each other. I do and will pray for you.
Just unbelievable stuff.
This is unbelievable stuff, isn't it? You guys are just as surprised as I am sometimes by this. This is real. You know it's real. I know it's real.
That's what we thought.
Oh, my. That's great. Steve Huff, Huff Paranormal on Coast to Coast AM. We're listening to him talking to what he believes is the other side. What else could it be if it is not that? I mean, can these devices just throw things out like that?
No, it's not possible. I've proven, actually, I've scientifically proven my device. I've also learned how it is spirits speak to us, which helped in doing what I do. And it kind of gets a little complex, but according to spirits, now this is all according to them, spirits are energy. They're pure energy, right? And they can manipulate electronics. I've discovered that they can see through my camera when my camera's on. So if I point the camera to an object and ask what they see, they will tell me. If I point the camera away and ask, they don't know. And they tell me they see through the camera. They know when I'm recording. And the way that they speak is by manipulation of audio. So when I use that little old digital recorder, it's from 1996 or something like that, and it's really bad quality, but there's a little inner noise, a little inner white noise that the recorder creates, and the spirits are using that noise to create words. And I've even proven this by feeding cat meows into a portal box, and you can hear the spirits taking those cat meows and trying to form words out of them. And they'll even say it's not easy. So, it's like they basically change audio. I have a reverse mode where I'll feed audio in, I'll press a button, it'll reverse it, so it should sound like gibberish. And it will, but when a spirit comes in, it changes to forward and they answer the question. And we've even done tests where I had a guy create an audio program that said specific words. And as it said that word, it would flash that word on the screen. So I knew what was being fed in. So I would ask, what's your name? And the answer was Roy. But the word that popped up on the screen was something like fish or something. Totally not the word that was coming through. So they're changing that audio using some form of energy. They manipulate electronics, and they've told me what I can do to help them with this. So, for example, my boxes today feature different energy types. They feature magnetic energy, orgone energy. They feature real 24-karat gold that they've asked for, and there's a clip coming up that's flat out amazing, where after I added the gold, I have a conversation with who I call the Gold Man. But there's different energy types, and supposedly this helps them to speak. It's crazy stuff.
It is. I can't stop thinking of hearing something like, "You are talking meow 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 to the devil meow meow meow." Did you get any meows when you did the cat thing?
Yeah, well, you hear it's in the cat voice. They're using the cat meow voice to form a word. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, that is. I love hearing this stuff. So if you're listening to us right now, it's Coast to Coast AM. Connie Willis here, along with Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. We're playing the sound clips that he has from his conversations with the other side. He's describing to us how that works, the different machinery that he has, or devices that he has, and how he even does these scientific tests to make sure, or trying to make it all make sense. And they follow him around, excuse me, as well as I think they're just right there with him, and he's got little groupies too. So more to come here. You're listening to Connie Willis here, along with Steve Huff on Coast to Coast AM. It's Coast to Coast AM. Connie Willis here with Huff Paranormal's Steve Huff, talking to the other side, letting us hear his audio clips that he has had, a variety of different ones. I know you've had celebrity, you've had fun ones, you've had entertaining ones, you've had educational ones, and you've also had some pretty creepy ones too. I'd like to get on to number 10 because I think it's going to be a creepy one, Steve.
Yeah, this is a clip that I had just completed a new device. I called it the Wonderbox Gold because spirits were asking me to somehow implement gold into it. And I had no idea how to do it, but I added about $600 worth of 24-karat gold wiring into certain parts of the box. And right when I did that, there was evil started to come through. But during this, I asked, who is here? It might be a little hard to hear, but, I mean, the title of the clip is called The Devil, but you can play it and we'll see.
Okay.
My tablet only has 5% battery. All right, come on through. I'm Steve. Who's this?
Oh, I heard it. It. Let's listen.
There you go.
Yeah, I heard that. Let's listen to that again. And Michael, see if you can't even turn that up at the very end where he says that. That's ugh.
My tablet only has 5% battery. All right, come on through. I'm Steve. Who's this?
The devil.
Now, here's an interesting part of that too. After that happened, I was doing this in my backyard actually, and there was other things that came through that night. But right after that, there was like a couple of locusts flew and hit my door. A bat flew around my pool. I've never seen a bat. And this was after, in a session, they said that they were vampires, which they meant energy vampires. But then a bat appeared. There was all kinds of crazy stuff happening, but it wasn't too long after this that I think it was the next day I had a really severe attack on me. I thought I was a goner, and luckily we have a hospital here that's about 3 minutes away, so I just told Debbie, let's get in the car, drive me to the hospital, and I was saying my goodbyes to her on the way to the hospital. I go in, I could barely walk. They tell me I was having a mild heart attack, and before that happened, I was telling Deb, the whole experience, she saw it happen. I was seeing these demonic entities attack me and try to kill me, basically. So
You saw them.
I was admitted to the hospital, and it was shortly after that, when I got back out of the hospital, that I destroyed that box and I quit. I was going to quit for good. I was like, I'm done with this. I took 6 weeks off, and during those 6 weeks, I really reflected on what I was doing wrong, how careless I was being. And when I came back 6 weeks later, I changed my whole outlook and made a lot of changes, and never really had any problems up until about a week ago with this whole succubus thing. But I think that's already gone. So, that was a crazy experience, though.
I think I remember that because it was kind of a big to-do
Yes.
that you were going to quit. Yeah. And so, and you were very quiet about it for a while, if I remember. You didn't say what it was. You could just, if anybody follows you on YouTube or Facebook or any of that kind of stuff, I remember you doing that. So it was because, so you said you were attacked by demons and you saw them, right?
Yeah,
Is that what you said? What did they look like?
They looked horrific. I could only explain them as demons, but I really can't tell you they were demons for sure. They just looked horrific, like something you would see in some crazy monster movie. They were just, I can't even explain it, but one was choking me, and I could hear them in my ear telling me I was done, and they were going to kill me, and I was telling Debbie, this is it, and I couldn't breathe. I felt like my soul was coming out of my body. It was really just an energy surge through my whole body. It feels as if your soul's going in and out of your body, and it was very intense. And, I was like, take me to the hospital, and the doctors could not explain why that happened. Of course, I didn't tell them what I do, but
they probably laugh at you anyway, right?
They had me up on the EKG, and they had me, all this stuff, and they took all these tests, and they were like, you're perfectly healthy. We don't know why this happened. So I was like,
Do you think that, when some people, and we know this through near-death experiences, do you believe or think at all that maybe you were crossing over, and where some people that come back to tell it, some people say they experience heaven, some people say they experience death and hell. Do you think it's a possibility that you were crossing over and that's what you were experiencing? But you made it through the sickle,
I don't think so, because what I do is, the work I try to do is that of love and light. And when you do that, as I said before, there's dark, there's light, there's evil, there's good, there's love and hate. So if you're constantly pushing, trying to help these lost souls, there's something evil that doesn't want me to do that or doesn't want us to do that. And if you're doing it on a regular basis, they've warned me at times to not do it. And I was careless. I did a lot of things carelessly back then. And that was basically them saying, don't do this. But again, now I'm of the belief I can't fear it because fear is what gives them power, in my opinion. So I do this today without fear. And yes, I still do pray for lost souls. And when evil does come in, it usually is here for a very short amount of time and it's gone. And again, I'm trusting in those who claim and say they're my guides and protect me. And so far, so good. I haven't had any more experiences like that.
So you said that this was with the 24-karat gold.
Yeah, and there's a clip coming up a little later where it was recorded before that, a couple days before, which is a conversational session with a man talking about the gold. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get on to number 11 here. Let's do that one.
Okay, 11 is basically I was using the box, and I had the lights on, and the lights are a yellow light. So that's all I need to tell you.
Okay.
What color do you see?
Yellow.
If you can hear me, God, thank you for blessing my life and filling it with love, happiness, positivity, and peace.
I am God.
You are God?
Whoa.
So
Were you talking to God?
I don't think so, but I will say that, the yellow lights, I asked what color do you see? And if you watch the video, you see the yellow lights on the box, and they say yellow when I ask what color. and I was doing this little talking to God thing, and the spirit claims he was God. Now, is that God? I don't think so. Was it a spirit just saying this?
But it does say, I'm God, right? It says, I'm God.
Say that, yes, but take it, as you will.
Okay, let's hear that one again.
What color do you see?
Yellow.
If you can hear me, God, thank you for blessing my life and filling it with love, happiness, positivity, and peace.
That I am God.
You are God?
Good question.
Yeah.
Come back with there.
So I'm talking to God, and it's like, it's almost like he's like, I am God. It's interesting.
Yeah, it could even be like, are you thinking I'm God? I'm not God.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a situation like that.
I kind of got that. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on to the next one, number 12.
All right, the next one, self-explanatory. Like all the ones we've heard so far, we're either using my portal box or the recorder. So this is just using an app, the SCD2, made by Anthony Sanchez, and it's just the tablet, no speaker. And I'm trying to see if I can connect without any of the gadgets.
Okay.
Who's coming in?
Investigation of shadow.
Who is behind me?
It'll go away.
It'll go away? Well, I want to know who it is. Can you see me right now? You could? Somebody's stepping up.
Johnny.
Johnny? What is your name?
I had the answer.
You said the answer? I might not have heard you. I'm sorry. We're not using any devices. We're just using the app.
Enemy came to kill us, so...
Sounds like you're getting all sexy there, Steve.
Yeah, I'm just holding the app up and I'm trying to connect, and and I'm like, who's here? And you hear say Johnny, and so they were answering my questions just using the app, and that was just a fun video actually to try.
Yeah, I tell you, and that was Anthony's apps.
Yeah, it's the one I collaborated with him. It was my idea and implementation, and he did all the programming. It's called the SCD2. And he sells it at ghosthunterapps.com.
Okay, yeah, we've had him on different times, and also he's talked to George Norrie many times with his book. Mm-hmm. When we were all together at one point and using all these different devices, what I remember is just one word's here and one word's there, and sometimes you kind of fit it to make it work. But this stuff, they just converse right there with you. They're following an actual dialogue.
Yeah, and that's the goal. And I used to think that improve the device. But what I've found out later on and more recently is it's also a lot to do with it is building up that connection. I call the person who does it the operator. So the operator, in this instance, me, using the device, has to have that connection with the other side. And to get that, you have to earn their trust. You have to be persistent and patient. You have to show love and respect. And as I said earlier, have that genuine care and empathy for them. And if you have that, and I found it quite, easy over the years to build a deeper and deeper connection. So it's not just the device, because I get a lot of people like, can I buy your box? And I'm like, well, it might, it's not going to work for you as it is for me probably. For some it will, some it does. But I don't want anyone to just think they could just buy a device and have this kind of experience. It works both ways. You have to build that connection from within. And my connection really exploded. I'll tell you, I done a video called A Sign from God, where I asked for a sign from God, and I got it. And that video, it's a long, drawn-out video. I talk about the whole experience where I saw a vision. From that moment on, my communication became 10 times better. And that's when I accepted God into my heart and soul and just projected love and went about all of everything that way. So It's the person and the device. For those wondering about these devices, it's not as easy as just picking up an app or whatever and turning it on and talking to your grandmother on the other side. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, Grandmammy's not always over there, and you're not sure if it's Grandmammy in the first place. So you have changed a lot, because I know previously it was really a lot of provoking, just pinching and pulling and poke, 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 poke constantly. And now, it's a totally, totally different way that you're approaching this. So let's go ahead. Let's look at number 13. Do you need to set that one up?
Yeah, this one's maybe a year and a half old. This one's a little bit older, but we haven't played it before. I used to have, I don't have it anymore. It's called a black mirror, and supposedly you could take these and stare into it and see a face of a spirit, if a spirit is there. So I was asking the spirit if they ever used my black mirror.
Have you ever shown yourself in my black mirror? Yes. I've used this a few times.
And
What?
the last phrase was, we both have.
Oh, okay. Let's hear that one again.
Have you ever shown yourself in my black mirror? Yes. I've used this a few times.
Oh, we both have. Yeah, I got it on that one. Ouch, ouch. I got that in the heart. Oh, wow. Ooh. Ooh.
I actually got rid of that black mirror. That was a while before my attack, and when I got attacked, I threw everything I had away. I sledgehammered my box, and so that's long gone. But yeah, that was a clip from those days.
Oh, that one hit me right inside. We both have. Oh, see, you would have never thought to say that. That is creepier than you would even think as a human to say. If you made it up. That's what I feel about it. Because I would think you'd just go, I don't know, if you were faking it. This just me. This is what I'm thinking. Is it that you would just say we both have. I mean, an incredible writer in Hollywood may not have come up with that. That's creepy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now remember, I've done this live for people. I've done it for groups. So I do this stuff out in the open. But the next clip is interesting because it touches on one of these celebrity.
Yeah, let me hear this one.
So this one, number 14, is Elvis. I decided just recently, maybe 3 months ago, to do a session for Elvis Presley. I've always liked Elvis. I have Elvis records. And so I used my box, and I tried to connect with Elvis. And he has a message here. We'll hear.
Elvis, can you feel that light? What an awesome message to record. If I heard that correctly, I clearly hear, yes, I am in, and it sure sounds like heaven.
He's like singing it there at the end. Yes, I'm in heaven.
I am in heaven. Yeah, it's interesting, right?
It's like he's just still laid back in his older days, where he wore the white poncho suits or whatever, the jumpsuits, right? Yes, I'm in heaven.
Yeah, before that, I was like, have you crossed over? Have you went to heaven? Have you seen the light? And when I first started it, I turned it on. I'm like, are you here? And you hear him say hi in a southern drawl, like, hi. It was a pretty cool session.
And normally, now because it was just so short and we just got the clip of it, normally when you do a celebrity, I mean, you hear their voice immediately. Now, I'm not totally hearing it. Let's hear that one more time.
Elvis, can you feel that light? What an awesome message to record. If I heard that correctly, I clearly hear, yes, I am in, and it sure sounds like heaven.
Yeah, okay, I can get that at the end there. I can get that.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Now, the full videos, they're like 20, 30 minutes, but there's a lot to these. So they're all on my YouTube channel, if anybody wants to check them out. So.
Do we got about 2 minutes here? Do we have enough for this next one to hear that one? Or
we'll do it really quick. Basically, it's called Father. You could just go ahead and play it.
can hear me now?
I can hear you now perfectly. Thank you. Who's by the SCD2? Who is that? Someone's over here.
Your father.
My father?
What? Huh?
So basically, I felt an energy by the box.
Oh.
And I said, "Who is that?" And the answer was your father, which I've connected to, my father many times. I do videos. So that was one of those clips, yeah.
Did you feel that was your father?
I don't know. On that one, I'm not sure. But other ones, yes, without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Here we go. We're talking with Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal, and we are listening to his clips from the other side with his different devices and different apps and things like that. So stay with us. We've got a whole lot more to come. You're listening to Coast AM. I'm Connie Willis. Connie Willis here from the KOA News Radio Studios out of Denver with Coast to Coast AM. Normally, throughout the week, you get to hear George Noory. On the weekends, you get somebody like me. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you have not met George Noory, speaking of, you know he's out and about all the time, right? Let me tell you one of the neat events you might want to go to and mark your calendar. I'm going to give you plenty of time. He's going to be at Big Bear Lake at the end of January. Snowfest.com. Now, doesn't that alone sound like a blast? If that's all you heard, doesn't that alone sound fun? AlienSnowfest.com. Let me add that word on top of it. And doesn't it sound even more fun? So it's the second one that they've done. It's the end of January, Alien Snowfest 2, Big Bear Lake, California. George Noory's going to be out there with Stanton Friedman and Rosemary Ellen. Excuse me, wait a minute. We also have Nick Redfern's going to be out there too. I just lost my little piece of paper there. It just went flying in the air. Grant Cameron's going to be out there. Tommy Danheiser, you know Tommy from here. Dr. Sky, a whole bunch of other people are going to be out there. Now, you know, he's got all these different events that he's going on and doing. So make sure you write down the specific one. And if you just missed it, just go to our website. You can find out all the information there. Look under events in the menu and see where George is going to be next. And I want to go to that event, Alien Snowfest 2 at Big Bear Lake. For more information, go to our website, coasttocoastam.com. You're listening to Coast to Coast AM. Connie Willis here. I hope that you'll also join me on my YouTube channel. It's called Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis, Earth's most interesting conversations, and that includes people, places, and things. All sorts of fun shows that we have. Interesting, mostly live streaming, showing up at research areas, and, you know, there's tape things too, and just a whole lot of stuff. Cryptocurrency, Bigfoot Friday, Far Out Thursdays, all sorts of goodies, and I hope that you'll join me. Please go there and subscribe at Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. Blue Rock, get it? The Earth and a rock and his talk. Okay, you get it. It's fun, and if you subscribe, you're called a Blue Rocker. That is someone in the know. So thank you that you do that. Now, we have a real theater of the mind going tonight because we're playing these audio clips that Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal has pulled together for us. And I love getting the reactions from you guys. Steve, one of the reactions I got with one of the sounds that we had is where you had said it said, I am God. She had heard that it was Eye of God. And I guess, I'm sure you get that a lot. And hey, who knows, right? Who knows?
No, I usually tell people, like, you know, if you hear something different, let me know, or go with what you hear. But on that one, I also struggled with I am God or Eye of God. It's one or the other. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what she had said. What about another person asked how they can get your machines? Can they? Do you just make them for you, or?
I usually sell anywhere from 3 to 6 per year, but I do only sell them to those with experience. I recommend to those who don't have experience or have not done this, simpler things like a spirit box called the PSB7, which you can get on Amazon. But my device is kind of advanced. It costs a lot of money to make and build these days. It takes me 3 weeks to make one. So I only like to sell it to those with experience because once you start getting into it, it can open up doors. And that's why it's called the portal. It's called the portal for a reason. So, yeah, so I do, but it's very, I seldom, rarely. Mm-hmm.
I wonder, I just wonder what would happen if you took them out into the woods where they are the hot spots for those that do, Bigfoot. Because, these things talk already and, their mind speaking to folks and they talk out loud. But it would be interesting if maybe. That
would be interesting, actually. I bet that it would pick up something, something that made sense, too.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be that. Okay. Invite me on that one. Okay. You cannot do it with it. If anybody knows that Steve goes and does that without me, we'll do it on both our YouTube channels, and we'll also do a Where's Willis with that one here on Coast to Coast. We got to do that. That'd be fun. Okay. So let's get back to the sounds. We're on number 16 here. Do you need to set that one up for us?
This one. Yeah, this is going back to that gold box, which was, the full video, I share what I'm feeling at the moment. But this clip, you hear basically a back and forth with this dark, menacing voice talking about the gold that I put in the box. So you can just kind of play it, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more.
Okay.
The man talking about Midas and gold. Hey, how you doing? Thank you. Are you guys... It is time for what? The gold? Midas. This is actually real gold right here. Offer gold. I'm not wealthy.
What? You are having a conversation here. First of all, did it say, "Hi, Steve," or something like that?
Yeah, how you do? It says, "How you doing, Steve?" And I'm like, right. "Hi, this is Steve." And then he's like, "Saw your work," and I said, "Thank you." And then, this other voice comes in talking about the gold, and he mentions Midas, and I said, "This is real gold," and he says it matches your wealth, and that's when I'm like, "I'm not wealthy." It's like, but it was right after that, the dark things started coming in, and it was. Then I got that devil clip that we played earlier. That box was one of a kind. I never made another one like it, actually, because...
Oh. Well, it does. It kind of sounds like, hey, gold, hey, baby.
Yeah, It's
like,
really,
whoa.
really strange, yeah. But you can play it again, yeah.
Yeah, let's hear that again.
The man talking about Midas and gold. Hey, how you doing? Thank you. Are you guys... It is time for what? The gold? Midas. This is actually real gold right here. Offer gold. I'm not wealthy.
I thought it said something like more like matches with women or something. It sounded like somebody you just wanted to run from. That's for sure.
It's just interesting that right after I make this gold, it was called the Wonderbox Gold with real gold, that I do a session, and here comes this voice talking about gold. It was very, very intense, and that voice came through a couple more times over the next couple of days. It was kind of a weird time.
And you can understand as well people going, "Oh man, this guy's a lunatic. This is so fake. This is phony. He created those words. He threw that out, right?"
Not at all. Not at all. There's nothing fake about this. I wouldn't waste my time doing this for 8 years full time while I have another full time career. I've spent so much money doing this that for the first 7 years, I was in the red by thousands of dollars. It's just now starting to pay me back a little bit. But, I mean, this is, I don't want to sound rude, but I always say that anyone who fakes this kind of research, there's going to be a special place waiting for them when they die. This is not to be messed with. It's not to be mocked. And that's why I get upset. I don't watch paranormal TV shows anymore, because I know what goes on with a lot of them because I've spoken with production companies, and it's not something I want to do. So what I do is absolutely real. It's unbelievable, and I understand that because I used to be skeptical myself. That's what got me started down this road. But, it's as real as it gets. And the next clip is probably a little more incredible.
Excellent. Bring it on. Number 17. Do you got to set that one up?
Yeah, basically, I sensed a spirit there, and I say his name, who I'm sensing. I'm hearing his name in my head. So you can just play the clip. It's self-explanatory.
Gordon? Who's the bicyclist here? Is that Gordon?
Gordon is...
We have a live chat tonight on my Patreon. Looking for a soul to speak.
So that was interesting because I was using a device I called the Soul Speaker. And it was shortly after I made it. And the first thing I sensed, the spirit named Gordon, who was a bicyclist. They then said, Gordon is here after I said his name. And then when I said we're going to be doing a live session, they said, looking for a soul to speak because, that's what I'm doing when I do a live session. I'm looking for a soul to speak through the Soul Speaker. So it was pretty validating.
Okay. And play that one more time so we can all hear it again after the story.
Gordon? Who's the bicyclist here? Is that Gordon?
Gordon is...
We have a live chat tonight on my Patreon. Looking for a soul to speak.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. Gordon is here. Like, hey, what's up?
But there's more to that. There's more to that in the video too with Gordon. So it's kind of cool.
Well, I hope you figure.
Most sessions are very light and all good. There's a year and a half of sessions that I've done without any evil whatsoever, and that's what the kind of sessions I like to do most. And when those happen, there's so many amazing validations, and they validate angels, and they've validated heaven, because I would ask, is heaven real? And they will talk of heaven. It's pretty amazing stuff.
You get that from near-death experiencers as well. You get that from remote viewers as well that, go into that realm. A lot of people, too, that have talked with the Sasquatch and the dog men and all that, they all speak of that as well. And you never know, are these people that's what they want to hear? Or, I just know I am very open to hearing everyone's story. And then I like to go and hang out with you and experience it myself. So,
yeah, right.
then for sure, right? Because, so a lot of people, and too, is like psychics, and you got to be careful that they may get the proper image in their head of whatever they're supposed to say, but they may not always translate it correctly because that translation gets mixed up in their own past and experiences, right?
Exactly. That's the hard part. That's been happening to me a lot lately during my group sessions where we try to connect with loved ones. I'll start getting bombarded with this imagery in my head, and I don't know how to translate it. So I tell people I'm not a medium. I don't claim to be a medium, but I am going to tell you what I see. And I'll say exactly what I see, and I don't try to change it. And lo and behold, 9 times out of 10, there's somebody in that group who it hits home with them, and they know exactly who I'm talking about, the memory I'm talking about. But there are a lot of times I get confused where I don't know what it means. So the translation can indeed get mixed up.
Yeah, but that's what one of the big differences with psychics and remote viewers. So when psychics are calling themselves remote viewers, but they're not really doing the actual remote viewing work that is done, that's where people got to be careful out there when they hear people say that, because a remote viewer will tell you just what they see. It's rocky, it's white, it's yellow, it's, they don't say, that's the old schoolyard, and the, that kind of thing. So
exactly.
There's the differences there for sure. Okay, so let's move on to number 18.
The next clip is I was at the Bel Air house, the house I spoke of earlier, with a team called the Chill Seekers. They're friends of mine. And I was sitting at a table with one of them. Her name's Carissa Simpson, wonderful person. And we had my box running, and the owner of the house, she had a family member pass away, I believe, the day before. So we can hear what's being said here, basically.
Kristen got news that there was a death in her family today.
Did it say
Her aunt?
That's what I thought.
It was her aunt that.
Are you
she
kidding
got
me?
the news while we were here today. Like, I just thought I'd reach out because it happened right here in this room when we found out.
Feel free to come through. One left. One left the room? Or there's one left here.
What
Yeah, so-
was that creepy thing at the end? Magic or something?
You know, I'm not sure what was said at the end, actually. I couldn't figure that one out. But, you know, basically she was talking about the owner of the house and how her loved one died. And then the box said her aunt, and it turned out it was her aunt. And I didn't even know this information, but she told Carissa earlier that day. So that was pretty cool validation.
Okay, one more time, and listen to that weird thing at the end. If any of you guys hear that out there, let us know what you think.
Kristen got news that there was a death in her family today.
Did it say
Her aunt?
That's what I thought.
It was her aunt that.
Are you
she
kidding
got
me?
the news while we were here today. Like, I just thought I'd reach out because it happened right here in this room when we found out.
Feel free to come through. One left. One left the room? Or there's one left here.
I don't know what that was at the end, but that's I don't know what that was.
They can sound a little creepy at times.
Yeesh. It's interesting when you get sometimes the same tone of voice, the same voice saying a couple things, because sometimes, I mean, do you hear the same person and they sound different, yet they're the same person, because they're still trying to push their voice through and manipulate?
Well, it all goes back to that, how they speak by manipulation of audio. So there we were using an app into my box called Spiritus. Now, Spiritus has a collection of phonetic sounds. There's no words, there's no phrases. It's just vowels and phonetic sounds. And I was running it in reverse just to be double sure we get no false positives. So even running in reverse with no words in the app, just snippets of human voice, we got a direct answer. But the tone of the voice was probably the tone of those phonetic sounds, because now spirits can manipulate it to change the voice, but that's rarer and harder to do for them. It takes more energy according to them. But sometimes they'll use the voice of the audio source that they're manipulating. So that's why, that app might have some creepy sounds in it, so you might hear some creepy voices.
So when you say they're on the other side, however, they're also to where they can see us and hear us, and then they have to use some sort of device to manipulate it to talk to us. So what is it? What is on the other side? What is it? Is it this invisible veil? What do you think this is? What's your theory from all this?
Again, I think that there's millions of souls that are on some kind of plane here, earthly plane, who can talk to us, can see us, can go into us. Now, I have theories on that too, because anytime I do a session, not anytime, but maybe 50 times over the years, spirits have told me when they talk, not only are they using the energy of the device, they're using my energy, and that they go into us to speak. So when they claim when they're in us, they can see through our eyes. Or if they're out of us, they can see, as I said earlier, through a camera because it's electronic. It goes really deep. And when a spirit goes into you, it's undeniable, unmistakable. You can feel that energy. You can feel it throughout your whole body. And it's not a bad feeling. If it's a good spirit, it feels very light, very loving, very peaceful. If it's a negative, you can tell instantly what they're trying to do, and then you have to kind of take steps to get it out. But all this sounds nuts and crazy to some people out there, but I'm telling you, this is reality. I've been doing this for 8 years, and it's just something I'm really dedicated to.
Still sounds nuts. Yeah, you're a nut. No, just kidding. No, it's interesting. A couple things that when people say, well, I'm not sure if it was evil or not. No. You will know when it's evil. You know.
Yeah, and they'll tell me, too. Like, there was a session I did the other day where they said they were talking direct through another app that has no words in it, and it was Eric brought a demon, and then the demon is here, and I'm like, oh, great, whatever. So they will tell you. They're not trying to hide it, in my experience. Some people say, oh, they'll trick you, but in my experience, they come right out and tell you.
Well, I also know that you get that feeling. I was at a place at one point, and I felt it. It was evil, and immediately. It's not like what is that? You know that you know that you know, and it is not. It is awful. So we are talking with Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. You're listening to Coast AM. I'm Connie Willis. Don't go away. More to come. It's Coast AM, like the man just said there. Connie Willis here. A reminder about our website. A lot of people will try to get a hold of me and email me and say, hey, what about this and what about that? You can really just go to the website. I mean, I can sound like I, know all. But, I usually just check out the website and go, oh, yeah, la, 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 and give you the answer. There's so many great things on our website here at Coast to Coast. It not just tells you what the show is for, like tonight, you can see what's on air now and everything about it. Like you can find Steve Huff's information, a picture, a bio, and all that kind of good stuff, and how to get a hold of him, as well as what's coming up, all the future shows for the week ahead, how to be a part of Coast Insider, how a part of being paranormaldate.com or the conspiracy date. So it gives you all the different information of all the things that you ask about, especially with Coast Insiders. People ask me all the time, how do I get to do that? You go to the website. But it's not, it's also a lot of really great content, too. There's featured content. There's content of past shows as well. But it's really fun to look through here because there's so much content in it that, I'm always like, if I need some new ideas for my YouTube channel, I can go right in here, right? Yeah, because there's so much stuff in here. And we have a feature called In Coast, You Missed It. I love that. Those are great articles. Also in the news, man claims to have spent 10 days with aliens. Need to get that man on the show, right? So test tube trees, plan to combat extinction. Just really, really interesting stuff and all the information that you need to know. It's our website, coasttocoastam.com. We are back here on Coast to Coast AM. Hi, everybody. Connie Willis here. Let me see if I get this right this time, because earlier I said spring forward. Do not do that. Not yet. Sorry, I went through some portal at one point. I can't believe I said that. Thank you for those of you that corrected me. All 10 million of you that wrote me and still are. I guess the show is delayed in some areas. Anyway, fall back, right? Change your clocks, fall back, get an extra hour of sleep. Go ahead, you deserve it, but change your clocks back. Those of you that are just now realizing that right now, go ahead and do it now. What the heck, right? Don't, go ahead. Some of you it's already official in your part of the world. So there you go. There you go. Fall back. It is going to be very dark, very early. You're going to get off work and go, what time is it? It really does kind of mess you up for a little bit, doesn't it? I love all the sunshine in the daytime. I love that. So anyway, be sure and do that. So we are talking with Steve Huff of Huffington Post. I was about to say Huffington Post there. I did a little bit with them at one point there with their weird news. So anyway, Huff Paranormal. Have you ever heard anything like that? Are you a part of Huffington Post? Did you ever hear that, Steve? No.
Yeah, here and there. Yeah. You're not the first.
Yeah. Okay. Steve Huffington Post. No. Hey, whatever works, right? So what we're doing is we're listening to the sound clips, the audio clips that he's received from us. Now, you're good with technology. Steve, you're good, and you're good with photography. So right now you're dealing with audio, and you help, you create some of these devices. Do you think in the future you're going to do something where you can get video of them?
Yeah, I've experimented with ways to do visuals, but mostly with photographs. I have photographs on my website at houseparanormal.com that you can see. Video is a different story. Because spirits are energy, I've found, and others have found, that the way they speak is by manipulation of audio. So the way they show themselves is by manipulation of things such as water, as fire, as smoke, mist. They can manipulate image noise in a digital image to form. I caught an image on the Queen Mary where the only one in the pool area was myself and a security guard watching me. I took a picture of the pool, and in the image you see a man in like Victorian-era outfit leaning against the pool, looking up into the pool area. And they used the digital image noise because I shot it, and people who are familiar with camera tech will know what I'm talking about. I shot it at ISO 102,000, which means that's going to bring a lot more noise and grain into the image. So spirits were able to manipulate that grain and show us what they once looked like in life. So as far as capturing them on video, that's a tricky one, and I don't really know what we can do to capture them on video. A lot of people see shadow people, and I'm not one who's ever experienced a shadow person, but, I try. I'm always trying new things.
Shadow people. That's like a whole nother world, and the Hat Man and all that kind of stuff. Woo! Yeah. Who's our buddy that, Weatherly? David? David
Weatherly, yes.
Yeah, he knows all that stuff, and he knows the black-eyed children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, there was Anthony Sanchez would always say something like black-eyed children or something, right? I guess
something like that. Yeah,
it was something like that. I think it was apt. I think it's really the way George Norrie says it, and he would say that's how George Norrie says it, and I think that's great. That's funny. Okay, so let's get back to these audio clips, and I know we're getting into some of the ones that I definitely wanted to hear. So
yeah. So
do you need to set this up? Okay.
The next one is when Hugh Hefner passed away, I had a bunch of people emailing me asking me if I could try to connect. And I wasn't going to because I didn't feel a connection to Hugh Hefner in personal life. But I tried anyway, and amazingly, I got a couple of really clear answers that kind of sound like his voice to me. So there you go. You can play it.
Okay.
Do you still wear your robes?
I've got my high head back.
You were known for your robes. Can you come here and talk to me? Is there anything else you want to say? May you transcend into the light.
I have been whining and dining.
You've been whining and dining there? Is that what you've been doing there?
Yeah, so basically the first line I asked him if he's still wearing his robe, and what the voice says is, I've got my hot hair back. Which would mean that now he has his full head of hair back, and then he's saying he's still whining and dining on the other side.
My! Yeah. Well, what side was heaven for him?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Had it all. Let's hear that one again, knowing that information.
Do you still wear your robes?
I've got my high head back.
You were known for your robes. Can you come here and talk to me? Is there anything else you want to say? May you transcend into the light.
I have been whining and dining.
You've been whining and dining there? Is that what you've been doing there?
That's interesting. So people are going to go, oh, he just went and got a clip of time when he said this.
I was actually, you see in the video, I plug in the app. The app was called, it was an Android app. I can't remember the name of it, but I talk about it in the video, what the app is. And that's all I use. I use various apps into the Wonderbox or Portal, and it gives them the energy to change the audio or manipulate it. That's the bottom line. That's how it is. But I understand people would think that, because I would think that too. And I say that I try to look at it from an outsider's point of view, because I get so enthralled into this and I become numb to it in a way where I'm so used to it that when I'm in my videos and just interacting, I'm not acting shocked or surprised, or, I'm just going with the flow. But if I was someone on the outside who's never seen this, I would be like, there's no way this is real. But I think the best way for people to go about that is, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have over 740 videos there over the years that show the progress from the early days till now. And you'll see my sincerity in the videos. And, I take this very seriously. So all I can do is, people open your mind, give it a chance.
Well, I tell you, people that, at least I've found this, I guess I'm coming down with something, excuse me for the continuous coughing. I don't know, maybe it's in this room, something's going on here I'm not enjoying. It seems like people that do fake things, they don't tend to do it for years and years and years. Maybe I'm wrong, but not so consistently. Like you do this daily. If you were faking this daily, it would be like, okay, I'm done faking it and I'm working too hard for this. But if it's oh no, what's this? This is exciting. That usually just keeps you going.
Yeah, I just like to share the experiences. And what's also telling is I've turned down many TV show offers. I've turned them down. So I'm not in this to get a TV show. I'm not in this to earn a ton of money because I don't. It's just a passion. It's something I'm connected to, and I take it very seriously. Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's see what number 20 brings us here.
Yeah, that's this. I'll just say this right up front. This is there was for years now. There has been up until about a month ago. There's been a spirit girl here, and a mother and a father. And maybe 2 or 3 times a year they would come in, and I would think then that they're gone, and then they would come back. So this is one of those times where I picked up her voice, and in this clip I asked her how old she is. So you can play that clip.
Okay.
Little girl talking, how old are you? Little girl talking, how old are you?
I hear I'm only 10. Which was a direct answer. But this family just a month ago was back where I recorded a session in my office with a little girl, a father, and a mother. And the father was telling the little girl to come by me, and they were like almost like wanting me to help the little girl. And I was like, why are these little children spirits not already crossed over? That should be automatic. Children are innocent. They're just pure love. So anyway, I did my prayer, and as I do the prayer for crossing over, you hear them responding to it, and the father's telling the wife, we have to go now. It's pretty amazing, and ever since I did that, I have not heard them again yet. So I'm hoping that they did make it, yeah.
I still find the most interesting thing is that I've never heard before is there's the light, and there's only so much time. And just like in everyday life, you have a door open, and, you don't go in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Still.
I mean, I've done that in life. I have regrets in life where I missed opportunities due to my own, not taking advantage of it or missing out, and I have regrets. So people should jump on any chance they get in life. If there's a door that opened, like you said, take it, do it.
Take it. Yes, exactly. Jump in. Otherwise, just like on the other side, they're going to be stuck going, oh, no. So you can be stuck here, too. So, wow.
Yep.
Imagine, if you look at it that way, if let's say, okay, we got all these doors here in this life right now that we have, and then we cross over, you talk about the other door to the light. So, let's continue to think that there's continuous doors each time we go through something. And then behind us, there was a door for us to come into here. You can kind of look at that both ways, infinity-wise, right?
Yeah, that's right. I guess our lives are full of doors here and in the afterlife.
Always take the door. Always take the door.
Exactly.
It's never like there's 1, 2, and 3, and Monty Hall's like, do you want number 1, number 2?
I was just thinking that. Hopefully, it's not like let's make a deal, pick a door, right? So,
well, usually when there's a door, it's usually do I stay here or I go in that door, right? It's never like that door, right?
Yeah, no. All I know is when my time comes, I'm going to the light. That's
Jump
my
in,
choice.
go to the
I've
light.
already made. I'm going. So
there's some people that say stay away from the light. So my goodness.
I know there are, and I don't understand that. In my experience, anyway, I wouldn't stay away from the light. So
I had just heard that one recently of don't go to light, don't go to light. So.
There's something going around. I think it started from somebody made a YouTube video and saying the light is a trap, don't go into the light. And I'm like,
that's the devil himself talking. and you know, did it say at the YouTube at the bottom of it, the devil? Yeah, I'm subscribed to the devil. Here's a question about that. Or a comment. I've noted, this is what I've noticed, and it's kind of in every, even if you want to go into the religion part, the spiritual part, or just even in the common world of something else. If you've noticed, any time you get closer to the truth, something somewhere, even if it's in work politics or something else, the closer you get to the truth, the more something tries to pull you down away from it. They don't care if you don't know the truth. If you're just walking around and you don't look for the truth or search for it in whatever situation you're in, you don't get bombarded by anything. But as soon as you try to search for that truth, there is bombardment around you.
That is a true statement for sure. There's probably things, we're not supposed to learn or know about. And there's times where spirits have said they can't give me an answer, or there's rules, there's laws. So I believe there's things we're not supposed to know. So will we ever find every secret to the universe or afterlife? No. But what I've done for myself, at least, is I've proven to myself that we do go on and there is an afterlife. And that it just puts me at so much peace. And I have no fear of death at all anymore. And I don't want to die, but when that time comes, I'm not going to fear it. Yeah.
The very first memory I ever had was two things next to me taking me down to like a little child from above and being above and then going down. And I was given the message of you will always be. And those were like the words, and the message was, hey, it's going to go on and on and on. Don't worry about it. It's always going to go on and on. You will always be. Just, here you are now. And so I've never had that fear as well. And so I totally get that. But even going back to the truth thing again, even if you have a squabble with work or relationships or whatever, when it gets to the truth, that's where everybody gets, yeah. But I do, right? But I do believe, and as all us truth seekers out there, whenever we get closer to something bigger slams us back. And
that's true.
I wonder if, Ingo Swann, the father of remote viewing, he had said that at one point, if I've got this right, somebody I'm sure will correct me otherwise, but he said something like he believed we were constantly being dummied down because somebody didn't want us to know all the truth things. And this is more of a human mankind kind of thing. So that's a lot of power to be able to say that, because I do think we're supposed to know the truth. And the reason I say that is because we wouldn't even be able to put the question in our own head. It wouldn't be formulated in our own head if we weren't there to try to find out the truth.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I've talked about that with people too, about being dumbed down. I totally relate to that, what you just said, totally.
Yeah, be careful about saying that around some people because they're just dumbed down. That's just the way they are. Anyway, we'll move on from that one. Okay, let's go to number 21. I'm looking forward to this one.
All right, so I've had requests for years to do a session for Michael Jackson, and I did one a while ago when my box wasn't as good, and I got some replies where in that session he had said, I asked if he had crossed over, and he said heaven. And I said, what's it like? And he says, it's nice here. It's not just money. And so people wanted me to do a follow-up. So I did a follow-up here, and the first answer is pretty cool. You could just play it.
Okay, all right.
Have you met up with friends on the other side? At Oprah's house? I could have swore he said something about Oprah's house. I'd like to say to your fans, friends, or family.
So the first time I said, have you met up with friends and family? It sounds like he says Oprah's house, like it was at Oprah's house. And then I say, ask if he has a message, and I hear, I am back with you. So you can play that again if you like.
Oh, yeah, let's hear that again.
Have you met up with friends on the other side? At Oprah's house? I could have swore he said something about Oprah's house. I'd like to say to your fans, friends, or family.
Wow.
Yeah.
It definitely has the Michael Jackson sound to it. And the other one, it kind of sounded like Our Old House, which was always a big deal, showing their old house all the time, right? Yeah.
No, that could be that too, yes.
Yeah. Woohoo! Steve Huff is with us tonight here on Coast to Coast AM. I'm Connie Willis, and he's with Huff Paranormal, and he is giving us audio clips of the other side. Stay with us here. We've got more to come. Coast to Coast AM, Connie Willis here, along with Huff Paranormal and Steve Huff, telling us or letting us hear his audio clips that he has from the other side with his different devices that he uses to do this and the different shows that he does to put all this together. We appreciate, Steve, that you put all these clips for us, and I want to try to run through as many as we can before we wrap up the show. So if you're cool with that, and then we'll get to talking a little bit more, but I want to get to some of these clips.
Okay, yeah, the next one's real easy. It's just, you could play it. I don't need to intro that one.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Jack.
Thank you, I'm Steve. Are there any spirits here?
Errol King.
What's your name? Can you tell me? Name.
So that was That was just a show I asked on 3 different occasions for a name, and they give me a name as a direct answer. So that was just basically to show, the probability, like, it's just to show it's real. I mean, I'm asking for a name, they give me a name, and then in the full videos, there goes on with more communication, like the one at the end who said her name was Donna. She said that she was hanging, or how she died by hanging. So, some of it gets pretty deep.
So when people, again, I'm going to go to the other side for you, the other side, and that is, people go, hey, you know what? Look, he already knows the questions he's going to ask. I don't care if it's a live show or not. He knows the questions, so he's got them set up. So have you ever said, okay, who out there, somebody throw me a question?
I do that. I did that tonight on a live stream on my Patreon. I said, what do you guys want me to ask? And I used my digital recorder, which you can't manipulate a recorder in real time, and we got answers to the questions that they wanted me to ask. I mean, yeah, there's no manipulation. When I did the event at the Bel Air House, I bring my box, we plug in an app to it, and we did a seance at the table. A group of us did a seance. And we were all getting direct answers. We pulled out the DR60s. We were getting direct answers. People were freaking out. Meters were going off all over the house. And the owner of the house said, we have to stop the seance because people are getting too scared. So, yeah, there's nothing fake about it. I would never fake this work. That's the most disrespectful thing someone can do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And this stuff does get scary, too, because especially when you're like, look, I don't know how that happened. But, and the thing is, so let's, all look at it right now that all this is absolutely 1,000% true. And I'm not saying it's not, by the way. I'm just saying if we think about that, these things are everywhere. They're everywhere around us.
If you don't believe it's true, imagine to yourself that it is just for a few minutes. Imagine if it really is real. If you don't believe in this, I mean, it's incredible to me, and it proves there is an afterlife. Now, what that afterlife is exactly is the question, because some of it sounds scary and some of it doesn't. But, yeah, it's all stuff. Now we could just jump into the next clip.
Yes, please.
It's an old clip, and I was using an old Ghost Box scanning radio. Now, a scanning radio Ghost Box scans radio stations at a fast pace without muting. They're usually hacked to do this. So it's self-explanatory. I ask if they like puppy dogs.
Okay.
Do you like puppy dogs? Do you like puppy dogs?
Yeah, puppy
So
dog.
he's repeating. He's like, a puppy dog. Yeah, it's like a weird voice. But, I mean, that's coming through a scanning radio, and in the video you see it in real time and as it happens. And, you know, that's proving there's an intelligence there that at least heard what I said, and they're repeating it to me. Now, the next clip was at that Bel Air house. This was during a seance.
Let me go back to the puppy dog for a minute.
Sure.
There's no situation where it could be, it hears and just echoes what you say.
Oh, no, not at all. That's not even a possibility. This was just a handheld Radio Shack radio that was hacked like a transistor AM radio. It fits in my hand. There's no microphones. I never use microphones. There's no microphones on any of my devices.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Good point. Good point.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, let's go to the next one you were talking about. I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
Oh, yeah, no. The next one was the second time at the Bel Air house. I was with another team called the Chill Seekers. And by the way, there's other people who use my device and get the same results as me. My friend Hope Paranormal, he just did a session for Anthony Bourdain, and he was receiving solid communication. And he kind of learned from me. We're really good friends. He's like a brother to me. And, you know, he's in Florida, and we both take this very seriously. So there's other people out there, including the Chill Seekers. They use my device as well. So this next clip, we had my box running. We were doing a seance with the three of us in the seance room at the Bel Air house. And basically, there's nothing to set up here. It just sounds really creepy. So I just threw this one in here to let you hear what it sounds like when we did that seance.
You guys were talking in the attic. We've already heard you, so we do hear you. Are you stuck somewhere?
What happened to Emily?
Died. Ask.
Should we ask again?
Yeah, ask again.
Can anybody tell me how they will feel if this house is let go by the current owner?
Do you mind if someone else buys this house?
Something with her.
Something with her.
Hi, Steve.
Oh, hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, I said hi, Steve. Hi. Thank you.
Watching.
Watching. You're at the table now. Can you confirm that? M? Are you guys still here?
We'll be back tonight.
We'll be back tonight?
Oh.
You know, that's, are you like sitting in a dark room with a candle?
We're sitting in dark rooms with candles. We're holding hands. We have the box in front of us. And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that happened during that seance. But that's in a video called The Return to the Bel Air House. That's the last part of the video. But yeah.
There were so many, there were so many little choppy things here and there, and I heard the Hi Steves and some other things. Mm-hmm. Do you, like some of the devices that we heard tonight, that you said, I use this device, were way more clear than others?
Yeah, like the one we just heard was older. So I enhanced them over time, and actually it sounds insane again, but they give me tips on what to do. So I'm always trying to make it a little clearer. And, that's Like what I do now, my latest videos for the past, say, 6 months are way clearer than what they were a year ago or 2 years ago or 4 years ago.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get these other two so I can ask you a few more things before we go.
Okay.
So let's get to that next one there.
Yeah, you could just play it.
Okay, number 25.
Anything else you'd like to say? We're your friends. Did you hear that, guys? I'm your friend too, and I tell people that all the time.
Okay, let's hear that one again, because they said we're your friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to say? We're your friends. Did you hear that, guys? I'm your friend too, and I tell people that all the time.
And it could even also be, where are your friends?
Yeah, exactly. It could be that too. Let's just jump into the last one. There's one more.
But you still hear it. Either way, you still hear that. So, okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is a location. I was with my friend Josh, and it was a scene of a crime, a really sickening crime on children. And so I had my recorder. We were in the house, and I asked if that spirit who committed those crimes were stuck in their own personal hell, and they answer.
There were some serious sickening crimes done in this house. And the person responsible, are you stuck here in your own hell?
It's a little loud sounding, but the answer is yes, and then a pause, I am, really loud. They speak really loud with the I am part.
Oh, my gosh, you're live back with me. I didn't know if that was part of the clip. I didn't hear. Is that part of the clip? That's him live. Can we hear that again? So you're saying at the very end we hear...
You hear a yes, because this recorder, they're using that intro. There's so much there over the years in over 700 videos that is just undeniable. And some of these conversational ones, undeniable. And there's a lot of information and things that have been learned over the years. Again, I've written them into a notebook. So I slowly piece it all together to try to find any kind of answers about the afterlife, you know.
Well, we definitely appreciate you sharing that with all of us. This is Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. Steve, where can people find you?
The best place is YouTube. Just search Huff Paranormal. You can find my channel if you subscribe. I generally put out about 2 new videos per week. And that's the best place. I also have a website, huffparanormal.com.
And anything else you want to say before you take off?
Thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun, and it went by quick. 4 hours flew by.
I know. It goes by quick. Everybody, if they hear something like 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, and you're like, oh, it'll fly by. You'll wish you had more, you know, because I know we could continue talking even more so. So just really quickly tell me, how do you see the future since you're getting this much information now, and you've improved and improved? How do you see it happening in the future? Just kind of briefly.
I'm going to say that by mid-2019, as soon as that, it's going to be even much clearer and more direct. And I think we're going to continue to see the help me's and finding out more about light versus dark, because I think that just as on this earth that we live on, you know, there's light and dark, there's evil people, there's good people. And there's also said to be a spiritual battle, and I think we're going to start seeing some evidence of that from those who do this work. And again, there's a lot of those out there who do this work. It's not just me. That's
true. There's a lot of you out there. And the best advice is to, when the windows and the doors open up for you, go through them while they're there before they're gone.
That's right. And love is the key. Remember to be kind, love each other. We're not here to hate each other. That's about it.
All right. Thanks, Steve Huff. Take care. Thanks for being here on Coast to Coast. Michael X will be with us in the future when we'll talk to him in the future when things are doing a little bit better in the crypto world as well. Thank all of you for showing up. As you know, can't do it without you guys. So if you like the show, please let us know. And I hope that you did. From the KOA News radio studios of iHeartMedia in Denver, my name is Connie Willis. I hope that you go to my YouTube channel, Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. Subscribe to that. Become a Blue Rocker. That is someone in the know. And that's where you can find me in between the times that I'm here. If I don't talk to you throughout the holidays, which I'm hoping I will, but if I don't, I hope you have the best of them. And remember to change those clocks, if you haven't already, to fall back. So many thanks going out to Donna Walker for helping us there. Also, Bill May, a lot of people here. Tim Banal, Lex Lonehood, Stephanie Smith, Dan Galante, Angie Sillo, Tommy Danheiser, Sean Ledessour, Lisa Lyon, Mike Cosio, as well as, of course, George Knapp, Mike Wolf, Greg Foster, and George Norrie. So until we meet again here on Coast to Coast, hey, keep watching the night skies and continue with me to seek out the strange and uncover the unknown. For Coast to Coast AM, I'm Connie Willis.